Hello. So today I have a recipe for you that I believe you're just going to love. It is buttermilk honey cornbread. And we're going to actually make muffins out of it. I have my little muffin tin here. Um, very few ingredients, easy to make, and it's quite delicious. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to mix all of our dry ingredients together. So I have some coarse ground cornmeal, yellow, and some all-purpose flour. In this little bowl, I have some salt, baking powder, and baking soda. We're going to add that in. And then, of course, I have a half a cup of white sugar. So once we get that in, again, give it a quick little mix because we want to kind of mix everything together. This is going to be two bowls. One bowl is going to be all dry. The other bowl is going to be all wet. So just kind of do a quick little mix on it to get everything incorporated together. And of course, you can do this recipe in a mixing bowl, like a KitchenAid mixer, or you can do it like I'm doing on hand. You can do it with your hands. It's not that difficult. Okay, so that looks pretty good. The next thing we're going to do is mix all of our wet ingredients, and then we're going to add the dry to the wet bowl. So the first thing I have is I have 3 eggs. We're going to go ahead and beat them lightly and then get them in just to kind of break them up a little bit. And then I have some buttermilk. It's a cup and a half of buttermilk. Got a little bit of the buttermilk chunks. We want to get them in. That helps make the cornbread taste extra delicious. Next we have the honey. It's the second main ingredient. And just for my honey, it came out pretty good. That's because I sprayed my little bowl just a little bit with some Pam. Just a little bit of cooking spray to help the honey just come right out of the bowl. You can give that a nice little mix. Just kind of get everything mixed up there. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in some melted butter. So this butter is it's melted, but it's completely cool because I didn't want to cook our eggs. So we're going to add that butter in, and that's okay that it may look a little bit broken, as we would normally say. But that's only because of the fat from the butter and the liquid from the buttermilk. So now that we have all of our liquid in, we're going to go ahead and give it a slight little beat, and then we're going to add in the dry ingredients. So everything's looking pretty good. I could smell the honey. It smells fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and add in our flour and cornbread. I'm sorry, the flour and the cornmeal mixture. We can do it gradually. Let's go ahead and give them that little shake. It's looking great, and I'm going to put in the rest. This mixture will be a little bit thick, but it's not going to be really soupy at all. But it's going to make some very, very delicious, fluffy cornbread muffins. So before we started, I preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and it's actually going to bake at 400. But the muffins will only take closer to 15 to 18 minutes to be done. And when you're mixing, we don't want to over mix. We just really want to make sure that there's no big chunks and everything's really, really put together. So that looks great. Just going to separate my tines, give it a little tap, try to get that extra mix out. And of course, I have my little trusty scoop that we're going to fill our tins with. So I just use some regular cupcake tins that we have in this little pan. We want to do a full even scoop and plop it right in there. So although this recipe is sweet because it's the buttermilk honey cornbread. You could add whole kernel corn to it if you'd like, just to kind of zest it up. Tastes delicious. There we go. So we have a dozen. You can see that I do have some left because this recipe actually makes 2 dozen muffins, but you don't have to make it. You could definitely just divide the recipe in half and only make a dozen if you need to, or you can make the full 2 dozen and bake them all and then wrap them tight and put them in the freezer. So into the oven they go, 400 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes. So now that our time is up, we're going to go ahead and check on our muffins. And they look fantastic. Let's take them out. So this is them, complete and finished out of the oven, a beautiful golden brown. They are going to taste delicious. I've actually made some honey butter that you can get this recipe on the museum's website. We should be able to post that as well as on the website for WWL. But this is our final product, the buttermilk honey muffins. They're cornbread and they are hot and delicious. I hope you guys come out and visit us at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum.